That pack of wolves in Yellowstone really knows what it's doing. The predators were chasing the huge elk, but when one of the wolves was about to catch it, the elk noticed a refuge in the icy river. That's how the elk wins, because it's smarter than its pursuers, so it survives. But every safe spot has its own advantages. It might save the day, or it could mean doom for the prey being chased by predators. Winter is the time of the wolves. They get a boost in strength and endurance, while their prey, the elk, becomes weaker. In this case, it's easier to corner the elk, and the wolves almost do it. The elk's only hope is the river. Usually wolves don't mind the water, they might even enjoy it. But not in winter. Wolves won't risk diving into icy waters because they could freeze to death. But even if they did, the elk has another advantage. When it's in the river, its antlers are at the same level as the wolves on the bank. No predator would dare jump straight at those antlers. So, in addition to everything else, the elk hides its vulnerable spots underwater. You might be surprised, but it's hard to bite underwater, especially when you need to breathe. It's important to note that cold rivers also pose a deadly threat to the elk. They are at risk of freezing and frostbite, but unlike wolves, they don't have a choice. Either they dare to cross the river, or they become prey for the pack. So, the river is considered a refuge, a safe spot to catch their breath and regain strength before escaping. The wolves may get frustrated and look for an easier meal, and this is important because predators' energy always runs out. Although the wolves didn't go far, they didn't chase him either. It's better to wait until winter fully sets in, when the big prey will be weak enough to become food for the wolves, or maybe the wolves will starve to death. The animals in the video are African wild dogs, and those small antelopes are klipspringers. February 22, 2022. The rangers in Mala were lucky to see the klipspringers at their safe spot on the edge of a cliff. This is not the first time that animals have used this place to hide from predators. Klipspringers have hooves designed to provide maximum grip, allowing them to climb sharp rocks and stay in place even on nearly vertical surfaces. The laws of physics work only in favor of the African wild dogs. In the end, it seemed like she realized that, gave up, and went to hunt bigger antelopes that can't climb rocks and balance like this. Sometimes, African wild dogs aren't lucky with other antelopes either. This is mainly because, unlike wolves, they don't enjoy swimming or even being in water, and the antelopes understand very well that a body of water, especially a deep one, is a refuge from the pursuing pack. They head to the water, taking advantage of their larger size to go deeper, while still being able to stand on the bottom at the same time. For African wild dogs to reach their potential prey, they would have to swim, but they don't like to swim. Trying to hunt while swimming is a big challenge, unless you're a type of killer whale or a crocodile. Don't forget the horns. When the antelope stands in the water with the predators on the shore, its horns are at just the right height to stab the boldest one. Even if African wild dogs try to swim to reach the antelope, they usually realize two things quickly: that it's a bad idea and that the water is too deep. Moreover, the water acts as a safe zone that protects them not only from African wild dogs, but also from many other predators like cheetahs and even lions. He met the water Chevrotain, who realized long ago that the pond could save his life. Even though he is the largest animal in his family, he is still small. These young ones live in equatorial Africa, where they have many predators that hunt them day and night. There is really no safe place for water Chevrotains, but they have found a good refuge. This is their safe haven, where they can dive and swim, and even hold their breath underwater for up to 4 minutes. To clarify, most untrained people can hold their breath for 60 to 80 seconds, while trained individuals can last about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. However, not all predators lose their appetite. For prey that dives underwater, this crowned eagle, for example, knows that the water Chevrotain will need air soon, so the prey has to be more creative. The water Chevrotain dives, but it tries to surface somewhere else, away from the predator. However, All of these cases are natural safe points created by nature itself, but what about unexpected ones? For example, a penguin in Antarctica, chased by a killer whale in the Gerlach Strait, decided to take matters into its own hands and jumped onto a boat full of tourists. I don't know who was more surprised, the penguin, the killer whale, or the tourists, but the bird spent some time on the boat until it decided the coast was clear. After that, the penguin calmly returned to the water. When there are no boats, but there are killer whales, the penguin will jump onto anything it can, whether it's a beach or even an iceberg. The idea is simple. Predators like killer whales or sea lions are less likely to catch the penguin on the surface. So, if a penguin jumps into your boat, just stay calm and wait until it finds its way back to the water. Usually, it doesn't need any help. Sardines have taken this safe point strategy to a whole new level as they turn to living creatures instead of objects or locations. The jellyfish themselves are a spectacular sight, with their umbrella-shaped bells stretching from 4 to 24 inches across. But the real magic happens beneath the bell, where a group of small fish find refuge. They use the jellyfish as protection from the trumpetfish lurking around, but isn't that dangerous for the fish? The sardines? They certainly don't have immunity to the jellyfish's toxins, so they have to be extremely careful and avoid touching any of the tentacles. It's worth mentioning that this mobile refuge isn't used only by this type of fish. Scientists have observed that crabs, sea spiders, starfish, and even turtles use it. Another example is fish inside the jellyfish, this time along the French Riviera. It's almost the same idea, where the jellyfish does its thing and the fish find a safe area inside to hide. But what's really interesting is what happens with the salp. The salp is one of the strangest creatures drifting in our oceans. They're not jellyfish, although they look like them. These creatures are known as planktonic tunicates. Basically, salps are living sacs that float and feed by sucking in water from the front and expelling it from the back. When you watch them, you might think that a fish was swallowed by accident, but in reality, the fish willingly entered the salp. It's a safe haven, and it's mobile without any risk of exposure, like a castle with panoramic windows. Throughout the day, the pearlfish stay inside the sea cucumber and only come out at night to get food. The improvisational nature sums up much of animal behavior in the wild. Some have to make an effort to find food, while others have to avoid becoming food themselves. We have the latter case. When people see this, they usually think that the lynx is in trouble. Anyone would be in trouble if they ended up on top of a giant cactus, but in reality, this is normal behavior. The lynx is known for its ability to climb cacti up to a height of 65 feet to escape predators, because no sane predator would climb a cactus to chase the lynx. The lynx has excellent climbing skills and strong feet that protect it from the thorns. It's likely that the animal didn't even notice it was climbing something thorny. For a lynx, whether it's a tree or a cactus, it doesn't matter, as long as it serves its purpose. The design of the cactus spines is key. They are made to make it easy for the lynx to climb without the risk of getting hurt by the thorns. In Florida, they found an animal sitting on top of a power line pole, and it seemed like it had no plans to come down. It didn't even try, and people couldn't figure out what to do. Their attempts to use a stick to convince the animal to come down looked ridiculous, especially the lynx's reaction, as if it was saying, "Seriously?" In the end, the animal climbed down by itself and disappeared into the nearby forests. Maybe people were too hasty here. It's known that the lynx can stay on the cactus for up to 5 hours, sometimes even longer before coming down. Maybe they should have just left the lynx alone and waited a little.